Hey everyone! In just the brief lifetime of this channel so far, we've already seen a number of colony management simulations, and today we can add yet another one to the stack, Odd Realm. If game examples like RimWorld or Dwarf Fortress have taught us anything, it's that the development times of games like these can sometimes take anywhere between 5 years to infinity, depending on how deep the developers intend to go. The roadmap for this game took a little digging to locate, but the goals on it, to me at least, look to be pretty time-consuming. It certainly looks like we're in an earlier stage of development here, so before anything else, I wanted to point that out for your consideration. Plus, it gives us an idea, value-wise, as far as how far the money goes. At first glance, it does look like Odd Realm is aimed in a similar trajectory as a classic Dwarf Fortress experience. You choose from anywhere in the generated world, determine your starting location, select the type of challenge you're facing, and then get to building. That said, there's already an inclusion here that's a little bit different and it's worth checking out: multiple playable races. Now, unlike our look at something like Songs of Six, these different races, at least the two that are playable in the game so far, are actually very different from each other, with different focuses. I've found this to be pretty refreshing, and far less gimmicky than I originally assumed it was going to be. At least 3 more races are already slated to be added as well. I tried out both of the ones that were available to me. Humans will need to do human things: farm, drink water, etc. The other playable race of Ancients, however, they're sustained by a power called Void Crystals. They'll need to be harvested, not as food, but as a way to essentially spawn new Voidling thralls when the other ones expire. It does effectively take the same experience and turn it into a very different game, with an alternative focus on different types of rooms, structures, and strategies to use. Understanding the Z-axis is absolutely something a player will need to get used to in order to enjoy themselves here. I found myself trying to zoom with the mouse multiple times only to end up buried deep in the world. Keyboard and mouse controls, they can be changed, but not customized to the extent I'd prefer. I had to settle with disabling the mouse wheel to just move past the issue. Exploring the depths of the world wasn't nearly as dangerous as I assumed it'd be, or wanted it to be, with the exception of me causing a completely expected flood. There are randomized structures and secrets built beneath the ground, and hopefully even more to come as time goes on. The UI and the controls of this game are the most noteworthy thing I want to mention at this point. It was both the source of my frustration, as well as something that managed to impress me. The first point has to do with the micromanagement of everything within this game. While it's awesome that I can fully customize the locations of furniture and necessary equipment as I designate a room, it causes everything you want to build to take many more steps. What might otherwise be a quick series of clicks in a similar game really slows down here, though you do end up with a more exact look. On the other hand, the search feature within this build and prop system is incredible. As you become accustomed to the individual items you'll need to expand, or if you want to quickly reference one of the many item types, holding Shift allows you to quickly filter through all of your recipes. It doesn't take a lot of time to learn and use this system at all. It's just something I'd love to start seeing in other building games as well. There seems to be a breakdown that occurs with some basic things you've come to expect from other games. For example, farming here is a very manual process from what I can tell. Individual plants are set to be planted, then you wait and command again for them to be harvested. If you enjoy micromanagement at this level, I'd be surprised. I hope this is something more automated in future builds, or if it's something that can be better automated already, I hope it becomes more obvious how to do so. It does look like there's a raid and battle system being added, which seems a much needed concept to add a level of challenge to this game. As it stands, the threat is laughably bad in comparison to other games of this nature. In this example here, I literally did nothing at all to solve the problem of my first raider. It solved itself. Gamers who love graphical fidelity may be unimpressed by what they see here, though I do feel a need to justify that a little bit. Games like this have to process a full 3D world, but they can only display a slice at a time. Granted, there could be potential graphic improvements added with time, but it'll be harder to judge this experience against the 2D game that doesn't have to consider multiple height layers. From a programming perspective, this has incredibly large ramifications on the processing power needed for pathfinding and AI, for example. Odd Realm is the least expensive early access title we've taken a look at here on this channel, and it goes on sale quite often. My best suggestion right now, I think, would be to wishlist it if it looks interesting to you. There's a lot of development news coming from the developer, but the actual changes to the game have been extremely rare, and quite far in between. There isn't enough content to really recommend this game in its current state right now, as much more than a demonstration of what could come. As always, we're going to keep an eye on titles like this, loop back around as things continue to develop. Or not. and I'll do my best to keep everyone in the loop. For the moment though, I just want to say I appreciate you choosing to spend your time with me today, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.